Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Centered Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And he's back.
I'm
Mel
back.
Doerr is back. Hey.
Hi, Marina. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show.
Oh, are you kidding? I love having you on here.
Thank you.
I gotta turn.
Oh, are you kidding?
No.
I love having you on here.
I gotta turn this down. Okay, turn it off. There we go. I think we're ready to go.
Technical difficulties.
But like I was telling you, it's been that kind of day.
I know. Mercury's retrograde, I think. I don't know.
It is.
That's one planet they should blow out of the sky.
I think so. Yeah, I wouldn't miss it.
Everything that can go wrong does. I don't want to give that energy, but it's like, oh my God.
I know. Hi, Lisa Foster.
Hi, Lisa from Louisville. We say Louisville from Louisville.
Louisville, Kentucky.
No, it's Louisville.
Louisville?
Well, people not from there say Louisville, but from people that are from Louisville say like Louisville, Vul,
Louisville.
You got it.
Louisville. Okay.
Native.
All righty. And hello, Flora D. And so, thank you. Thank you all for being here. Even those of you that have not said hello or made any comments yet, you're just kind of lurking in the back. That's okay. I'm okay with that. So if you have any questions.
Lisa Foster says, yay.
Yay.
Louisville.
Yeah. If you have any questions, please put them in all caps in the chat so that at least, you can get our attention and then, we're not missing it. We do have a couple. So I just, before we get into kind of doing some of the readings, just wanted to give you a heads up. Hi, Charlene, on what's happening here this week. On Thursday at 7 p.m., I will be hosting Val from Dragonfly Crystals, and this is episode 6 of our messages for lightworkers, and that should be a lot of fun. So come by for that. And then Friday the 13th, Sherry from Voices from the Swamp and Sharon from Strawberry Rhubarb, we are tempting fate. We're going to toss some cards on Friday the 13th. And we said, you can't scare us. We have kids. So
my favorite day, Friday the 13th.
Yes, exactly. So, hey, Sheila Edwards. She says, I follow Mel wherever he goes.
Oh, thank you, Sheila. Thank you so much for your support.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we've got one of the questions. I'm going to star it so that we'll be able to get to that.
Lisa, where in Louisville are you from? I'm just curious where in Louisville, Lisa.
Louisville.
Got it. It's kind of like water going down a drain, Louisville. I just wonder where she's from. Okay, what secret documents did they find? I don't know.
Oh, okay. Let me clue you in. Apparently, Biden's lawyers were cleaning out an office that he had used while he was vice president. And he had used it while he was doing some work with the university. So they had gone in, his lawyers, to clear out the office space because he doesn't need it anymore. And they came across a file that was marked personal, and one of the lawyers opened it up and realized that it was a document from the White House, like marked secret or whatever. So he immediately shut the folder and called the National Archives and said, I found this, what do we do? So anyway, that came up, I think, yesterday. I think there was like 10 documents altogether.
Well, here's the deal. if I can interject. Oh, Lisa by Iroquois Park, Shively, lively Shively.
Ah,
There. I grew up near Shepherdsville, a little town south, and then in Okolona. Anyway, so I'm thinking that the Republicans are going to make a big hoopla about it, but here's the deal: Biden, it was in his desk when he was vice president. He didn't take them to his summer home. He
Yep.
didn't take boxes and boxes. None of them were missing.
exactly.
He turned them in. When they found out what Trump did, okay, Trump might have turned in a few documents to the National Archives, but there were many, many that were missing.
Exactly.
So if
And
they
he didn't cooperate, where Biden absolutely cooperated.
correct. So if they try to say, well, you're doing this to Trump and not Biden, and they try to bring criminal charges against Biden, it's not going to work.
No.
Um,
No, because you know what? If it's good enough for Trump, it's good enough for Biden. And if you want to call Biden on it, then you have to call Trump on it. You can't have one or the other.
well, I wonder if maybe it was found by his lawyers or maybe somebody planted them there.
You know, that it was funny, but when I first heard about it, that was my initial reaction was, oh, isn't that convenient that they were found now?
Exactly.
But, it's, well, it is what it is. There was no, no one tried to talk their way out of it or anything else.
No, they gave them the National Archives, which they should have done.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And they cooperated.
They might try to say somewhere missing, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that,
Yeah,
In fact, Trump just clearly what Trump did was wrong.
absolutely.
And they're going to
And
be able
Biden didn't sell our secrets.
correct. And they're going to be able to prove that Trump did that.
Yeah,
The other thing is now that McCarthy is speaker, which he won't be for long, thank
I
God.
know.
My guides kept telling me that, Trump wanted McCarthy to be speaker because Trump then thinks he can control the House.
Yeah.
And I still think that some of Trump or his cronies are talking to Putin, and they're talking back and forth. And so therefore, Trump is going to use that to try to persuade the House, like defunding the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Trying to defund the IRS and all of that. It'll never pass the Senate. The Republicans are not going to win ultimately. And basically they're putting nails in their own coffin.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is, I have said all along that I didn't see him as speaker. No matter how many times I asked the cards, it was no. And after he was elected, after 15 tries, right? It's like, at that point, it's embarrassing. Just, you're embarrassing yourself. However,
I'm bringing up a question. Why were the lawyers going through Biden's desk when he was vice president? Where was the desk? And I'm still thinking that, what would spur his lawyers to do that? I still think maybe they were planted.
it could be. This was it was apparently they had gone in because they were closing down the office, and this was an office that that he used when he was vice president, and he did use it sometimes afterwards when he's a private citizen, when he was doing some work for the university there. And so this was just, they're going in and they're closing down the office. And
Amanda Curl just brought up something I see in the comments. It says, no comparison, Biden's documents left by an assistant in a Chicago office while he was vice president.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hi,
Fine.
Jen W. So, with McCarthy, there's a reason that all of us, and so many of us that read on him, said he won't be speaker. He won't be speaker. When you consider how much he has given away, that, speaker is a title. That's all it is. It's a title. He doesn't have any power. So,
well, they still have to get stuff through the Senate. And like if Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, by the way, I see ultimately gone, and Matt Gaetz and all those, I see him gone.
yes.
If they try to pull impeachment papers against Biden, here's what's going to happen. Schumer will never bring it to the Senate floor.
Exactly.
So a lot of this stuff, Schumer's going to pull Mitch McConnell. He's
Yes.
not going to bring a lot of that stuff to the Senate floor, and rightfully he shouldn't. The thing that bothers me is now they're starting a committee to investigate the DOJ, who's investigating some of them. It's like,
yeah, they want to see what the DOJ has on them.
exactly.
And, people who are innocent don't worry about what the DOJ has on them.
Right.
Right. It's only those that are guilty, only those that have asked for pardons and so on. So, yeah, you're going to investigate. So maybe you're going to find out what they have on you. It's not going to change anything. It just means
my guides tell me that's Trump's interference already. You investigate the DOJ who's investigating you. That would be like the mafia investigating the FBI who's investigating them.
I know. I know. It doesn't make any sense. And yet,
well, there's certain things they probably don't have to disclose, especially if it's secret. So I don't, it's not going to stop the DOJ.
No, it's not. They're just going to carry on. And it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun for them. So, I think, their day is coming. Don't, stock up on the popcorn, stock up on the champagne. Good times are coming.
Drink Coke and watch the movie. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, Amanda Carroll. So, I caught you with Linda yesterday. Very, very good discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice discussion. It's when you read on the energy and when we're all getting the same message, there's something to it.
Exactly.
There's something to it. So,
well, it's just the Republicans they're doing this stuff just for revenge. They're not doing it for the good of the American people. They're investigating the DOJ because Trump is mad because they were investigating him. And, all those people that were in the insurrection, like some of them that are being investigated, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, a lot of those people, it's about getting revenge. And that shouldn't be what this is about. This should be about accountability. And
exactly.
Kevin Chandler said that the Republican Party after the midterms will fracture, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
Because I still see some moderate Republicans, if they try to impeach Biden or if they try to pull some shenanigans, they're not going to vote with the Republicans. They'll reach across the aisle and vote with the Democrats.
Exactly.
And if they're smart, they'll do that so they can keep their constituencies.
Exactly.
And notice how when the Republicans got what they wanted, now all of a sudden they're talking about cutting Medicare, Social Security.
Yes, security. Yeah.
You don't mess with those programs. They haven't learned that by now.
No, and you know what? I think a lot of that, it's just, get the people all riled up and whatnot. They are fracturing as a party. I was listening to Kevin McCarthy.
Kevin Chandler's in the house. I said,
hey, Patty. Oh, hey, Kevin.
Kevin, I'm talking about in a good way.
Yes. When he was talking about, and I think it was on the third or fourth ballot or whatnot, and how he was saying how, this has nothing to do with revenge. This is about, the American people. And I thought, stand back, because that bolt of lightning is going to come in. Like, give him space, right? Don't stand so close. No, you're absolutely right. It has everything to do with revenge. They don't know how to govern.
Well,
They don't know.
McCarthy said this is about the American people. What you just said, in my head, the bell's going ding, ding, ding. That's my BS bell. I have one.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Exactly. If what he was doing was for the benefit of the American people, after the third or fourth time that he didn't get in, he would have said, okay, clearly I'm not the guy for the job. And for the American people and what's best for the country is someone else to step in. But
that's like shooting somebody in the foot and say, I did it for your own good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, when you got a whipping as a kid, this is for your own good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So Lisa Foster wants a wrench. She wants you to,
who does?
Lisa Foster.
Lisa Foster. I could do that. Lisa Foster.
I don't know if Kevin does or not. But
you're a moderator. Kevin, you want to be a moderator? There you go. You're a moderator. Just like that.
Lisa said really lively, shively.
Yeah. I have figured out how to do this.
I'm glad you have.
Huh?
I'm glad you have. Because anyway.
Oh my goodness. So yes, for those of you
with this wrench comes great responsibility.
Absolutely.
Well, then it's not a magic wand, it's a wrench.
It's a wrench, yeah.
I'm teasing.
So yeah, we were talking backstage about for those of you that are in here, how many of you happen to catch Dr. Lena Rodriguez on, hey Ivana, on the Mary Trump show? She was absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. And I was trying to keep up with the comments. They were flashing by so fast, but there was a lot of people whose names I did not recognize. So that, they're not like regulars that come in. And they were saying, this woman is amazing. You got to have her back. Maybe she should be a regular contributor. And I thought, you know what? That just does so much for the tarot community.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
going to help her channel greatly. So, you know what? I'm happy. I'm always happy for a success story.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And especially when it's, someone right? Like we're not best friends, but I feel like I know her. And yeah, with the other readers, yeah, it was fantastic. So let's we kind of got into it a little bit, but let me bring up the where do I have to? Okay. Okay. I'm just going to put up. Where are we? I don't know where we went, but we kind of temporarily disappeared. Yeah. Okay. So Lisa was asking what will happen with Biden and the secret documents they found.
Nothing.
Nothing.
As I said, Republicans will try to make a big deal out of it, but it's like somebody commented just a while ago, and that was really good. It's Biden didn't do anything wrong. It was just documents left by an assistant or when he was vice president. And so, but they did the right thing. They turned them over to the National Archive immediately without the National Archive saying to them, we want those documents.
Exactly.
All over. Whole different ballpark. It's like mixing apples and oranges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to do that, it won't work.
Yeah. And they will, because it's just what they do.
Oh, they'll probably have a committee to investigate it. They'll probably have a committee to investigate it, but if they send it over to the DOJ won't hear it. They won't do anything.
No.
And people are going to say all these witches that the Republicans are going to start in the House, all these committees, you know, the American people are going to say enough of wasting our money. We want things done. We
Yes.
want to get a budget. We want infrastructure. We need this. We need that for the country. And it's going to make them look horrible.
Yes.
But some of those Republicans don't care. It's just about getting even. It's just
No.
about being.
Yeah, and it's a, you know what, it's a it's a small select group of those that are doing that. I think you're absolutely right that the majority of the Republicans, when it comes down to actually getting the work done, are going to say, you know what, I'm done with the crazy. And yes, we're going to reach across the aisle, and yes, we're going to get things done. No, none of this, you know, you want to be crazy, go over in the corner, be crazy over there. Don't invite everyone else to go along, because you're right, they want to keep their seats. Are they going to go back to their constituents and say, well, you know, for the 18th time we took a look at, you know, Hunter Biden and his laptop, like, same song, different verse.
You know, it's like their constituents are not gonna, or they're gonna get tired of it, and
Absolutely.
so it's not gonna influence the DOJ. It really isn't.
Yeah.
So they can try to impeach all they want, but as I said, I don't see it being brought to the Senate floor. And
Yeah.
as I said earlier, they really need the Republicans. Some of them, the ultra right MAGA ones, really need to work on issues, not this kind of revengeful tactic they're trying to use. But that's just what they do. They deceive, divert, sidestep, lie, you know, and so they think it'll take the emphasis off of Trump. It will not.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, Trump is behind it.
Oh, of course he is.
Behind it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely he is. Absolutely. That, yeah. I don't have to pull any cards, and I don't need any special training to
figure that out.
Yeah, to figure that out.
It doesn't take a special. Okay, I've got a question from Macarena Toledo from Argentina. Hey, Argentina.
Hey.
She said, greetings. My question is, how long will the Taliban be in power in Afghanistan, and will the women of Afghanistan have their human rights returned? That's a good one, actually. Well,
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Well, you know, it's going to take a while. We want it to be over sooner rather than later, but I think, yeah.
I'm sorry?
I said it's going to take a while, and, you know, we would like it to end sooner rather than later. However, okay, let's take a look.
I see, like, within 4 or 5 years, the Taliban will be, or Taliban, however you say it, will be overturned, and there will be a more middle of the road kind of government in Afghanistan, so that women can have some of their rights back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's been a lot of the people that might have sort of supported them on the fringe, that are seeing what's going on, are they're reevaluating what the Taliban stands for, and they're seeing that, you know, these the kind of the thief in the night, the rights that have been taken away from the women. And I think even some of the men are starting to think, wait a minute, if they do it to the women, they can do it to us. Right?
That's right.
Absolutely. So they are starting to think, they're starting to, to kind of think about their future and whatnot. And ultimately, they're walking away from it. But I think you're right.
Well, Sunny Valeria says
And
all they have been doing for the past few days is spreading lies and vengeance. She's talking about the Republicans. Oh, you know what, Sunny? He ain't seen nothing yet in the House.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I still see a lot of those those members of the House that were newly elected, I see a lot of them gone. And I think what Trump is trying to do is to divert so that these people can stay in the House. But I'm telling you, they're going to be gone. Like George
Oh,
Santos, for
yes.
one. There's going to be a bunch
Oh,
of them. And, you know,
yeah,
it could very easily, and I think it could very easily switch the makeup of the House again. In other words,
absolutely.
I don't, you know, it depends on the state as to how they appoint, you know, a representative who one has to lead. But I see a lot of them being indicted. And so within the
Yes.
next 2 years, so I see that, you know, it could very well be that the power goes back to the Democrats. And, you know, my guides are
That
telling
is
me,
my question. Yeah.
my guides are telling me that behind the scenes, Liz Cheney, I don't like her politics, but that
I
she's
know.
working with more middle of the road, moderate Republicans to stop a lot of the madness that'll be going on. And
Yes.
in the House.
Yes, absolutely. That was kind of my impression, and that's what I was getting was, you know, yeah, don't panic. There are people behind the scenes who are, you know, maneuvering things. The ones that are the, you know, the cray cray, I think even less than 2 years. I think that, yeah, they're going to be gone. They're going to be charged. Um, the ones that were involved with the January 6th insurrection, they're going to be gone. Um, and yeah, Santos. Oh my goodness.
He's
Yeah.
a disgrace to the gay community. He's a
Yeah.
disgrace.
If he is gay, I
He
mean,
is.
he's learned about everything, right? And that I remember watching one of the votes, and when the whoever was the moderator, speaker, or whatnot, when she was calling out the names, and she called George Santos, crickets. She called him 3 times before he finally stood up. And I thought, well, there you go. He doesn't recognize, that's not his name.
I was just going to say,
You
did he
know?
laugh at his name too?
Yeah. He forgot that was the name that he was using. I don't have trouble hearing my name in a crowded room, you know? And yet, yeah. So yeah, he's going to be, I think he's going to be one of the first ones they're going to be taken out, and they're going to follow the money. And I think that's what they're going to get him on, is they're going to follow the money. How do you go from being a call center employee, making $55,000 a year, living with your sister because you've been evicted from a couple places, to all of a sudden loaning your campaign $700,000?
Yeah, there's something wrong with that picture. But he's
Yeah,
also going to be investigated for lying on that disclosure
form.
form, and lying on a disclosure
Yes,
form is a federal crime. So he's going to be in
yes.
deep water, deep doo-doo. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they just might he just might find that he wakes up one morning in Brazil, and
he's going to get extradited
it'll
back
be,
to Brazil. I'm telling you, right
yes.
now he thinks he's got diplomatic immunity. And that could have been maybe something he cut a deal on the side with McCarthy, like, don't let them extradite me to Brazil, because he would have diplomatic immunity. But guess what?
Yeah,
I see him on trial in Brazil, and they are going to
yeah,
indict him.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, he better be
Absolutely.
careful if he leaves the United States and flies somewhere else, because they very well could pick him up in another country that's friendly to
Exactly.
Brazil. So,
Exactly. Okay.
oh,
And
I've got
speaking of Brazil, one of the questions that I had, that Viviani asked, and she actually got 2 questions, but they're both kind of the same. And she says, "Hi, Marina and Mel. Please, what do you see for the Brazilian president Lula and the future of Brazil after the violent attack against the government?" That was one
Ellen just said McCarthy can't cut a deal about extradition. He can't cut a deal, but what he could say is the man has diplomatic immunity, because diplomats do have immunity. And so the bottom line I was trying to make is it won't work.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brazil, it was very reminiscent of what happened here. And those
Wasn't it though?
Yes, and those people that were behind that insurrection, I see investigations, I see them in jail. And the president that the ex-president that launched it,
Bolsonaro.
he's going to be in trouble too. So
yes,
they're not going to win.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right about that. What I'm being told is that, yeah, this was something that they saw Trump do it. They saw Trump get away with it. They thought, hey, why don't we give it a try? We've got nothing to lose.
Plus,
Right?
I think Putin puts key figures in places like that.
Yes, he does.
As somebody he wants in office and they don't get it, then he encourages this sort of explosive insurrectionist.
Absolutely, he does.
I'm sure that Moscow had their hand in it. I'm sure. That's what my guides tell me anyway.
Yes,
just like they had their hand in what happened here.
Absolutely. I think that, definitely they Bolsonaro will definitely he's going to take the blame for this because he's behind it. And with his buddy Putin, right? So he's definitely going to end up sort of having to answer for it. This makes, I think it makes Lula's position a little stronger.
It does.
Because the people have already, the people in Brazil have seen what happened in the US. And they've seen what happens to the people who started the insurrection, and the kind of jail terms that they're facing, and so on. So they don't want to have any part of that.
Well, the thing that's going on with the MAGA Republicans in the House, like with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Lomberg, Miss Bible Babies and Jesus, right?
Yeah.
BBJ, I call her.
Yeah.
And then how authoritarian dictators get stuff started, they create chaos and dissension so they can say, I'm going to fix it. And so what happened there and what happened here, what's happening here now is something you see in banana republics, third world authoritarian dictator stuff. And then the people that are behind it here, like the MAGA people, talk about democracy. They just want authoritarianism and they want to keep power.
Their version of democracy is you do what I tell you to do.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, Travis McCarthy is doing Trump's bidding. That's correct.
Yes.
Darlene came up with a really good one. She said Brazil sure arrested the insurrectionists faster than the U.S. did.
So, yeah, exactly. I watched some of the news on that, and there was a picture that went out, and they were saying, considering what happened in the U.S. on January 6th, what happened in Brazil January 8th, 2 years later, look at the similarities. And there was a lot of things that were very, very similar with, the megas and their little uniforms, and in Brazil, their little uniforms. Remember the guy who went into the Capitol who had that big buffalo head? Or
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The supposed shaman.
Yes. Okay. Guess what? Brazil had one of those too, with the paint on the face and it was like, oh, come on. You're not even trying to make it different. It's like, come up with your own original idea. But so The other thing that Viviani was asking is, what do we see for Bolsonaro, also known as Trump of the tropics, and will he and his family be held accountable? Yes.
Bolsonaro will be, yes. I see him. I see him coming to trial.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll have their own form of punishment down there. So
okay,
yeah.
I've got one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No. I was just reading a comment. Hi, Travels.
Smiley 1177 says, "Is Jim Jordan able to get his agenda to flourish?"
No.
It'll look like it, but it won't. For a while, my guides say, and this is one of my favorite sayings, that it looks as if, some of those ultra right-wing Trumplicans and McCarthy will win the battle, but they will not win the war. And, they're setting themselves up for their own Waterloo. So,
absolutely.
And every Napoleon has their Waterloo, Mr. Trump, Mr.
Absolutely.
Putin, Mr. Bolsonaro, or however you say his name.
Yeah. No, all of them do. All of them do. It's just a matter of just waiting. Patience is not one of my virtues, I tell you. I really, I've said many times, if I wanted patience, I'd have been a doctor.
When God was handing out patience, I stood in the attitude line.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it is going to happen. It is going to happen. And I think that once everything starts to come out and the charges are laid and the documents are unsealed and charges are read, I think it's going to be worse than any of us had ever imagined.
Oh,
and
buckle up.
Yeah, exactly. So
Ellie Mays wants to know, will 45 and cronies ever get prosecuted before I die? Well, I see with a very long life, you'll be older than a bag of dirt when you cross over. So the answer to your question is there will be indictments. But,
yes.
I never saw Trump in jail.
I know.
But a lot of his cronies in jail, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I don't. The House who participated in the insurrection.
Yes, absolutely. Them, yeah. I have read on them before, and yeah, they're looking at jail time. Trump, I don't. You're right. I don't see him as in jail, but I do see him being like in an institution, like mental institution.
Maybe it's a nursing home.
Yeah, I think that his freedom is going to be curtailed in ways that we may not agree with, but he will be curtailed. Once the money's gone, that's the friends leave, the safe harbors leave. And
well, I also see him under indictment in Georgia as well as Giuliani. And
yes, absolutely.
And so, that state and the federal government, I don't know if I don't think they have any jurisdiction over the state. So they do, but if it were federal, he could get pardoned or whatever. But under the state of Georgia, no. And that New York stuff's not over with Trump either. I keep seeing indictments filed against him in New York.
Yes, absolutely. Didn't his accountant get sentenced today? I thought I heard something.
That I don't know.
Hi, Jamie. I was going to look into it and didn't have a chance, but I thought that he was being sentenced today. So we'll wait and see what happens with him. But yeah, they're going to start to fall. They're going to start to fall, each and every one of them. And yeah, it'll be interesting.
Trumpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Trumpty Dumpty had a great fall. all the Republicans and all of his, we want to say men, couldn't
Yeah,
get back together again.
exactly.
All all Republicans and all the MAGA men and all the MAGA, I don't know. I'll figure
Yeah,
it
do you want to? Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I'll pull it on
Hi,
that.
hypnicity. Yeah. And the end. Yeah, there's good discussions happening. I like that. I like to.
Me too.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Weisselberg got sentenced today. He's going to Rikers Island. Okay, then.
The same as I see for more people. I still
Yeah.
think Weiselberg's going to
Like,
tell him a bunch of stuff about Trump and that whole organization.
yeah. 5 months in jail? Is that all? Well, he's not a man who's used to hardship. And from what I understand, Rikers Island is no picnic.
I'm sorry?
So, he's a very soft man in that, and Rikers Island is not a great place to be. So I think, even 5 months is going to be extremely hard.
I'm not seeing a long life for him.
No.
Yeah,
No.
this is going to be very difficult for him.
Yeah.
If one of us had done that, we would have been in jail for 10 years.
Oh, please. Yeah. Yeah. We'd have been sentenced 3 years ago. And
Ellen
Yeah,
R.
right.
says he'll be lucky to survive 5 months in Rikers. So
yes.
they're one of the toughest places. So
Yes. I watched a documentary one time on Rikers Island, and oh, yeah,
not pretty.
no, not pretty. Definitely not someplace that I would want to be.
Well, Ellie Mays, in answer to your question, when she asked, will 45 and cronies ever get prosecuted before she crosses over? One just did today.
Yeah. There you go.
And there's
Yeah.
more of that to come, a lot more of it to come.
Yes. Yeah. So you have to hang on just to see how this story ends. Okay. If you're thinking of checking out, don't wait till the end of the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Linda says, Linda, thank you. And thank you for all the updates. Do you see any help like a stimulus check coming soon? We only had one since Biden became president, and these prices are really high. Abbott here in Texas will no longer give SNAP benefits. Everyone got their benefits decreased. SNAP benefits, I think, are food stamps for people that really
Yes.
need it. And
Yes, particularly children. Yeah.
how could you let kids starve? How could you send immigrants to, a block away from the vice president's house at 17 degrees Fahrenheit, which is below 0 Celsius,
Yep.
on a cold night with in short pants and no jackets? That's horrible.
It
So
is.
I don't know, with the budget committee in the House, they have to appropriate spending. And so Biden, I don't know how I could cut a stimulus check if the House doesn't appropriate the funds. And I even think the House would go as far to default on the debt ceiling and really affect our credit rating here again, just to get even.
Yes.
And look bad for Democrats, which will
Yes,
really
exactly.
mess with the economy.
Yes, it would. Very much so.
And that would also affect Canadian economy and world economy.
Yes.
So
yeah, it would. And I think for that reason alone, I think a lot of the moderates in the Republican Party,
that's right,
are going to be going the other way.
That's correct.
And
that's what I feel. Good. Yeah. I'm glad you concur or agree with me on that one, or my guides anyway. That's what they told me.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I do see help coming for people. And I didn't think Abbott would get reelected, but I don't see him elected again. He's making too many draconian moves, and people are getting mad.
I have to, and of course, like the little trailer says, for entertainment purposes only, I don't think that Abbott and DeSantis were truly elected in. I think that there was some creative accounting with the numbers. Let's put it that way.
Well, with the Satan in Florida, you know, the thing is, they put up, I think, Charlie Crist, and he had been a Republican governor of Florida. And then he turned Democratic. And so that was a strike against the Democrats right then and there. I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to get Republican votes, but a lot of Republicans were mad about Crist. That would be like somebody, let's say, that had been a Democrat, like who was it, Enema, going independent, okay, or some liberal Democrat that says, I'm now going to be a Republican and running for an office. They wouldn't get that many Republican votes. So that's what happened in Florida. That blew up in the Democrats' face. That was a stupid move on the Democrats' part.
It was.
Now they might have had their hand in, you know, in who got selected to run for governor. That I don't know. But, you know, but I see Abbott ultimately out of power, and he's going to be held accountable for the stuff he's done too.
Yes, he will. I think not only because some of the things that he has done were against the law, but you know the old thing from the Bible that says, you know, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I think that ultimately that's what's going to get him. Is there is so much hubris with the man. There's so much. He really thinks very, very highly of himself.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, when he comes down,
well,
he's going to come down hard.
You know, you said vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Nowadays we call that karma.
Karma, yeah. Yes.
Big karma is going to come back to bite him. All right, let me see here. But I do see some help coming for people. So good. Oh, this is a good one. Donna Chan. I can't pronounce her last name. Chianchiosi, I think. She must be Irish.
Irish, yeah. Sounds like it, yeah.
Chianchiosi. Greetings from Australia. Hey, down under.
Hey, nice to have you.
My question is, will the three men who recently were found guilty in absentia of shooting down MH17 in 2014 ever serve any jail time, or will Russia, Putin continue to protect them? I think it's that plane that got shot down. They're gonna, once Putin is gone, these guys are gonna be, they're gonna have to then they won't be protected anymore.
Yeah.
And so I see them serving jail time.
Yeah, I think Putin has to go first once he's done. And, you know, speaking of Putin, I'll be surprised if he's still around by the end of 2023.
Wow.
Like, yeah, the sense that I'm getting is that his disease is progressing a lot faster than they thought it would. And they did all kinds of things to try to minimize and everything else. But he's a lot sicker than everyone's been led to believe. So I'm thinking June, July.
Wow.
So, well,
hey, you heard it here, you all.
We'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Candy Mullen asked something, and I just kind of want to touch on this for a second. It says, in July of 2021, Katie J and her dog Bowie were brutally murdered at Piedmont Park in Atlanta with no one apprehended to date. Can you share if the police have any suspects? Will the case be solved? And was this perhaps someone that Katie might have known? Would really appreciate any insight. Okay. Candy, whenever there's a murder case like this, and that's why those 4 people that got murdered by that in Idaho and all of that, I don't go public and talk about these unless a family member calls me or the police call me. So I'd prefer, thank you for the question. It was a wonderful question, but I prefer not to answer it publicly.
Yeah, those. Yeah, it's kind of like sharing sharing the death of someone before the police have had an opportunity to notify their next of kin,
Well,
right?
the reason I don't do it publicly is because what if I hit on something that only the police knows and it gives
Exactly.
a clue? Because a lot of times the police withhold key evidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's why I won't do it.
Yeah.
You know, now if they already know who did it and the person, you know, where are they? I've done a lot of forensics work. And when I used to take a forensics case from the families, I'd be like, okay, I don't charge for this. I will not go public or to the press with it. But if the police call me in, then I could no longer have anything to do with the families. So it's just, to me, I just want to be ethical about things like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Right.
Because it is extremely sensitive. And
very sensitive.
you know, yeah, there's always an opportunity once someone is apprehended, there's an opportunity to maybe go in and take a look at possibly some of the motivation and so on. But yeah, the last thing that I would ever want to do would be to share a piece of information that either put someone on the wrong path or jeopardizes the prosecution's case.
Correct.
Right? Because yeah, then that's interfering with.
I worked on a heinous murder case here, and they had people in a question, but somebody wanted to write about it, and they asked if I could call the police department that was responsible for investigating the murder, and they hadn't arrested perpetrators at that point. And so I called there, and the chief of police called me back, and he said, I would appreciate it if you would not do that because we don't want anything to hurt our investigation. I said, no problem. And so,
yeah,
you know, you got to use ethics with this as well.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So,
okay, Verna Johnson wants to know if the war in Ukraine will be over soon.
By soon, you mean, you know, a couple, 3 months? No.
You know, I think Ukraine has Crimea back, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, I think Putin's going to now try to escalate the war, thinking that the U.S. will not get funded to give Ukraine money. And Trump is behind that, too, because that's why Trump was trying to weaken NATO. Had Trump been president, he would have turned his head and let Putin go right through Ukraine. But even if the House cuts the spending, I don't know what the president can do, but here's what they're not looking at. Other countries in the European Union will come forward, and other countries in the world will come forward to send money and aid to Ukraine.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Because if the Ukraine falls, that's it for a lot of countries in Europe.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening.
No.
But, you know, what's going on in the House right now is very, very, very dangerous to American security. It's very dangerous to, it's very dangerous for our national security. And, you know, I see that Sherry from the Swamp, Voices from the Swamp. She said, as I heard today, when the USA sneezes, the world gets COVID.
Yep.
And so it's very dangerous for our national security because it sends the message to other countries that the House is now weak and they're fighting, and then it's not good. It's not good for our national security.
No.
But the Republicans are getting one thing: we still control the Senate and the presidency. So they would be good to remember that.
Yeah, they're. You know, it's hard for me to understand where they think that they have, you know, power when McCarthy can be taken out by one member, saying, yeah, vote of no confidence, that's it, you're gone. He has made promises to people that, he's written checks that he can't cash.
He made a deal with the devil. And here's the
Yes,
deal.
absolutely.
I don't know what the new rules say, but if one person says you're out, I'm sure they have to vote on it. But you know that all the Democrats would vote on it to remove
Absolutely.
him. And then all you need is a handful of moderate conservative Republicans to say he's gone. And, then, God knows who else they would put in there. But he really cut his own throat, is what he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is the way for some of these, ultra-right MAGA people to think they can vote him out and they can take over. They can take over the House. That's not going to happen.
No.
That little minority is not going to take over the House.
Yeah.
My guy can tell me that.
No,
They might think they have already being on committees and all of that stuff, but not going to happen.
Yeah, that, what, I can appoint myself to a committee and call it anything I want. It doesn't mean that I'm capable of doing anything. It just means that I've appointed myself to a quote unquote committee. But yeah, so Celtic Seer, when will JJ and various corrupt serving congressional members go to the big house? Yeah, Jim Jordan.
Indictments and trials starting within a year. But what they'll do is try to string out the trial to run the clock out, until the election in 24. But if they do that, they're idiots, because I see the Republicans losing the House and Senate in 2024.
Yes.
And so
yeah, I think it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. You don't go after people's livelihoods. You don't tell grandma that, by the way, the Social Security that, the pittance that you get is going to be taken away from you. And remember who's taking it away. And also remember to vote for me next term.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And Hilda says McCarthy is bought and paid for, so he truly has no power. No, none.
It's just sad that he would do anything to be speaker. I mean, he was giddy, and
I know
he's not going to hold on to it, though.
No. And I think I might have mentioned this before, but yeah, watching McCarthy reminded me of that that stereotypical 1950s divorcee who was so desperate for a man that no one wanted to get near because, she reeked of desperation. Yeah, that's Kevin McCarthy. So
somebody wants to know, Elizabeth asks, how will southeastern Texas weather be for 2023?
It's not going to be good.
I see a lot more cold snaps, and that's going to tax the power grid even more.
Yeah.
And, Abbott clearly didn't do anything about that.
Yeah, no. And there is a lot of problems with the infrastructure. Yeah, I'm seeing storms, and I'm unfortunately, people are suffering. And
Josephine Schwartz asked a really good question, and we've touched on this, but the way she's got a little twist to it, which I like. She goes, the MAGAs in Congress are trying to put a committee together so they can view all of the documents that the DOJ has. Will this halt Jack Smith's investigations? The answer is no. He's going to keep investigating. And, if it goes to court, because it's a matter of, criminality and investigating these people for criminal stuff, the court might very well say, no, these documents are sealed and they do not have to go to Congress.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what? They can try, they can ask, they can scream, they can shout, they can stomp their feet and hold their breath till they turn blue.
And and she says, will Trump and all the other insurrectionists get away scot-free? The answer is no. But Trump planned this to stretch it out and stretch it out and stretch it out, because after the midterms, because if you figured if they could take over the House and the House could halt this, he'd already talked to McCarthy about this stuff.
Yes.
This was already a plan that they had in place.
Yeah. And it's not working for him, and it's not going to work for them either. Time marches on. Time marches on.
Marches on, that's right.
Absolutely. Anyway, my friend, we are at 1 hour.
There you go.
Time flies when you're having fun. And
I've just got to ask this one really quick.
yeah.
Barbara Howard says, is McCarthy smarter than a fifth grader? The answer is no.
No. McCarthy, yeah, he's not smaller or smarter than a toddler.
He's not the brightest crayon in the box, that's for sure.
No.
Or in the South where I come from, we say he ain't the brightest bulb on the porch.
That's right. Yeah. The lights don't go all the way up the Christmas tree. Or
there you go.
Yeah. No, I am embarrassed for him. Really and truly, I'm embarrassed for him that you would stoop so low, that you would stand up and show the world just what an insignificant little man you are.
Well, he's so narcissistic, he doesn't see it that way. He views himself as a great leader. And for somebody, the Speaker of the House, to stand up and thank a president who started an insurrection, I want to thank President Trump. Excuse me? Oh, my God. If a Democrat had done that, oh, wow. It would have been the shot that, was heard around the world 5 times. But, when a Republican does it, it's okay. Let somebody else do it, and it's wrong. So, the hypocrisy never ceases to amaze me.
I know. And I must say, you know what? Hats off to Hakeem Jeffries when he gave the speech.
That was a great speech.
Oh, from A to Z. I mean,
I wish he would run for president, because he'd win.
Mm-hmm. He's very Obama-like.
Very. And that's what we need.
Yeah.
A leader. Aries Wanderer. I love this one. The McCarthy name is a curse dating back to the first McCarthy era. And the same thing that happened to that McCarthy will happen to this one.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, D Rose. You came in just in time. I think we might be shutting her down, but we'll get reelected in 2024. Honey, he's not going to make it to 2024. He's going to be gone before then.
Yeah, he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, how was Hawaii? Hawaii was wonderful. So, Amanda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he just.
Yeah, he's not going to get reelected in 2024.
No.
Anyway. All right, Mike. This was wonderful. We've got to do it again.
Absolutely. Anytime. You just let me know when you're available, and come on. Thanks, and thank you everyone for being here and for sharing and for your comments. This was, very, very nice, very enjoyable. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. And you don't go on my mailing list where you constantly get reminders and all that good stuff. So thank you for being here. Go over to Mel's channel if you're not subscribed to him. All the information is down below in the description. So go over to his channel, give him a like, give him a subscribe and all that good stuff. And,
I want to say hi to all of our Canadian friends.
Absolutely.
So, people in Canada, thank you for your support. And thank you for letting us hear your voice, because it's important. Because the same thing that happened here could very easily happen in Canada. I don't see that it will, but it very easily could.
Very easily could. Very easily could. So anyway, all right, everybody, you take care, and I will see you next time. And we'll be back. We'll get him back. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Namaste.